got trust issues.
You shut down like this all the time. What are you so upset about?
But what if I try this and I still want to go back to London?
I hear parts of the story, but today this is a bit new to me.
It was a sorry I had to say constantly over months and years and weeks and days.
Hi, my name is Kit. I'm 26 this year. I am a photographer and a performer, and I'm also the sister of Cheng.
Hi, I am Cheng and I'm 29 this year and I'm a secondary school teacher and I am the brother of Kit.
Le brother. Oui.
Okay, so before we start, we are going to get you to watch something. Okay?
The vibes are immaculate.
What?
Oh my god.
Wow.
It's like they put a camera in our house.
Oh my god!
Oh
Very
my
brown.
god.
Yeah? What?
Do you come into my room?
I have to print something.
So, do you come into my room?
Oh my god!
Wait, must hear the dialogue.
Yeah, it was a last minute thing.
So you did lah. We already talked about this before, right?
Hey, can you relax? It was less than 5 minutes. I need to print something for work.
You know I hate it when people just come into my room like that.
Okay, we're less abrasive.
Okay, then now what do you want? Huh? I went in, I printed my stuff, and then I got out. I put everything back. What's the big deal?
Next time, can you just ask first?
I usually ask what? Just this one time, I never asked and you become like that.
Hey! I already told you before, right? It matters to me to just ask first. You know I got trust issues.
Trust issues? Can you stop being dramatic?
Stop being dramatic.
Dramatic? This is why I got trust issues.
Kid, we've been through this so many times. Don't kind of start again lah.
Hey, are you even listening or not?
Hey, whatever lah. Then I just don't go in your room lor. Then we just don't talk lor, can?
But the script though, very accurate.
Oh my god!
You know, that's not what I mean.
Let's just talk later, okay? I'm coming back now.
Oh my god.
Kopitiam.
Biography movie.
What the heck was that? Wow.
Wait, did we tell you this story?
Yeah, how detailed were we? Because that was like 90% accurate.
You basically just said that it was, you needed to print something and then you went to the room and then you just didn't understand why she was being so upset. And the key lines that you talked about was the last part where you were like, hey, whatever lah, then I just don't come to the room again. Then we just don't talk. And she said, you know that's not what I want. Yeah, so but everything else in between was fabricated lah.
The shirt color, not planned, right?
How was that for you?
I think when I watched the video, it it was a nice revisiting of a raw nerve, I guess, because it was I don't know about Kit lah, but for me it's like really a moment of shame. Well, when I first saw me sneaking into the room to take just do printing, I was like, oh my god, it looks so sneaky. Like in my head, it just seems like a simple act, but when I see someone else doing it, I'm like, oh, you bugger, you. Context is that I went into her room to print something without her permission and thinking that it was a very small task, but I had left something off. Later in that day, I got a text from Kit about, did you touch my printer? I think that was when everything sparked off. From my side of the story is, what's so wrong about just using a printer? It's not that bad. Why do you like hold my sins of the past against me? How come you cannot just like move on and not see me this way? Because I'm not a thief anymore. I'm just like a sneaky guy, I guess, which I don't want to be. But I just felt very like wronged, and that wasn't my intention. And I conveniently put aside all the 10 years of stealing that I did against my sister. And like tyranny I was a bully I was a very big bully.
Like, I mean, basically why it triggers me so much is because like, I felt my privacy was invaded a lot. And one day it got so bad to the point like, I dare not leave my house. Yeah. I don't know how to describe it. It seems very like petty or minor in the grand scheme of things, but siblings always take things from each other. But it wasn't those like petty fights. It was like really things that were precious to me that were just gone. You know, some things are just so personal that you just don't want it to be touched. So I have this trigger whereby he takes my things and then he just gaslights me, or he tells me, no, I didn't, and all that stuff.
Lie and steal.
Yeah, basically.
That's what I really did last time.
It gave me very big trust issues. So it's things like that, like why I locked my room before I leave last time when he was still living in the house. Is why I locked my MacBook, all this. Like, I feel like in my own house I'm not even safe. Because I really hate when my things go missing. Like growing up, we had an alright childhood until our parents divorced when I was 6 and he was 9. It started becoming like strangers.
After the divorce, right, I started having anger issues. Nothing to do with the divorce, but that's a whole other story. But I just started having anger issues in school. I saw that anger was a great way to get things done, get things my way. And it also started getting mixed in with like a lot of pride, like nobody should dare to mess with me. So who messes with me the most is my sister at home. In very unintentional ways, like for example, we will have a new Play-Doh set and I would take a 2-hour nap, and when I come out, my 5-year-old sister has mixed all the colors together. And it's very expensive, so I won't get another Play-Doh set. So that was one of the most tragic days in my life. But we learned to move past. Okay, so and then after that, I think it would just be things like, as siblings we play, then we fight. And when we fight, she learned how to use the phone. So she began calling my mom. So every fight over a board game or any game would be, she would call my mom, complain about me. I would get beaten when I came home. Until one day I just logically concluded, if I don't want to get beaten, I just need to not talk to my sister. So then began estrangement from the age of like, I think 12. After the estrangement happened, then she was more like a stranger to me, right? So things about her personal life doesn't matter to me. How she feels about having lost objects doesn't matter to me. So if I need money, I'll go into her room and I'll steal money. If I need an object at my convenience, I'll just go in and take it. And in my head, it was all justified because she's been such a nasty sister and she's not really a person I'm familiar with anyway. So heck it, I'm just gonna do it. I think I was not big-hearted enough that time to understand that she had trust issues, that she has things that she's going through, and that's why she got triggered. Instead, I decided to just be a narcissist and take everything personally. I think we also had this very defensive tone whenever we talk to one another about difficult issues. Actually, not simple issues, but like with baggage, emotional baggage behind it. We've come a long way since last time. Because last time, if she confronts me on something, right, it'll be a boom, right, an explosion. And it's not fair to say, it's 10 years ago, can't I just move on? I think it's not fair. Yeah.
I spent many years trying to be a good sister, be there for him, whatever he need I gave, right? But then he just always treat me worse and worse. I just thought it's just ego. But back then I didn't know there's probably more layers to like why someone would behave that way. So, and you know when you're at the forefront of the war, you just cannot see everything else behind that. I hear parts of the story, but today like this is a bit new to me that because like if you just don't talk to me, then like then you won't get beaten because of that lah.
We went from beating to courtroom session in the living room.
Yeah.
So my mom would say, court in session now, and then we'll start talking for 3 hours.
Okay, she won't say court in session,
She
but I
doesn't
mean
say
she will basically talk. So it's like there's this basis of communication. But then you talk about self-awareness, because like like you say, things can't move forward if we don't have our inner work done. Communication and confronting these problems head on is
The way it's gonna work out.
It's a process you must go through to deepen your relationship and to actually like make things better in the long run. So it's like this one part that a lot of people don't see. They always just see, oh, scary, I'm gonna get rammed by a car, I'm gonna get run over. But actually it's more of like, this is just maybe a thorn bush you have to go through to get to the other side of the field that is much nicer. Anger, right, is not what people always see. It's not shouting or yelling or like, anger can come as subtly as like that sighing, or even be like, I've really been struggling to like understand why you do things this way.
Anger is necessary. It's like fire is necessary. You can burn down a forest, but you can also give light or warmth in an appropriate setting. And I think anger is something that must be learned to be tamed throughout life, but you cannot like never use it. In fact, I think it's very loving to express anger to people whom you care about, because you need them to know what you get annoyed about.
Yeah, because if not, you're forever going to live under someone's like rules or like their way of working, and then how unhappy are you going to be?
Most people are very good at telling you what happened, and they tell you in an angry tone, but they do not say, and this made me feel angry or whatever. Processing with each other is basically asking a person what happened and how do you feel, and it requires that they dominate for that part of the conversation. They dominate 90% of it. Your 10% is just asking questions. If people can do this with one another, where they just ask questions and help the person to fully flesh out a full essay about what they went through repeatedly, that's called processing with one another.
Stop telling yourself you are wrong for the way you feel, even though everyone around you is telling you that. You are never wrong for the way you feel. Like, I think sometimes I struggle to validate how I feel, because if I validate how I feel and I say this is how I feel, this is correct, right? It means I will be an inconsiderate person. But then you have to realize being okay with how you feel is different from being accountable to your actions towards someone. I feel things got much better after he found Christianity and all this, and he learned to come from a place of love and forgiveness. And while he was coming from that place, for me, I was still holding on to a lot of anger and hurt. And because he was so consistent in forgiveness and understanding and listening, then I also start to drop my weapons and my armor and just learn to forgive as well and see how we can move forward.
Sorry, not to bring Christianity too much into this, but after I found my faith, right, then I got used to this very new habit of just confessing when I'm in the wrong lah. I lied and I stole. It's easy to say because I know that at the end of the day doesn't define me. So I think the confessing part helped a lot. Helps her lah, because she needs to hear someone confess that yeah, I did this wrong thing, instead of make excuses.
Sometimes it really helps for me to hear that they are actually sorry, and that after so many years of denial of you doing something,
that they're no longer in denial.
It's nice to actually hear that they actually are sorry. So I know where their head is at also. Or is it you're doing things just to move things forward, or are we on the same page?
The sorries that I knew I had to say was the one about bullying. That was one that was very hard to admit, because it meant that I had to admit that there were certain times where I was very monstrous to her. It's very weird, because it's on one hand I want to apologize. On the other hand, I know that after I apologize, right, I must live with the fact that I was that person. I was that monster that came after her with a golf club. very extreme, but nothing happened. That was one that was quite hard to say sorry to. The second one that was difficult for a different reason was saying sorry for being estranged. So I moved out of the house to live with my ex-girlfriend when I was 19 to about 21, 3 years. So 3 years I moved out, right? But before that, my heart had already moved out from the house like 6 years prior. When I came back, I expected like a full welcome and all things, all water under the bridge. But I think that was very difficult because it was a sorry I had to say constantly over months and years and weeks and days, over and over again. So that was very, very difficult because that was an endurance kind of sorry. And I think the last one, I guess the sorry that I didn't know I had to say was the one that where I created all the trust issues. I said sorry for stealing money or stealing a PSP, but I never knew I had to say sorry for her anxiety at having to lock the door every day before. I didn't even know that. Yeah, I think family is more important than being right.
At this point, right, even though it helps for me to hear sorry, I don't need, because I seen he's making up for a lot of things, and through years or months of consistency, right, I don't need to hear sorry for every single thing. I don't need him to say he's sorry for being physically violent last time, because it's just he's not like that anymore. Yeah, he's not like that anymore.
I think at the end of the day, my desires change from when do I have to say this until I am willing to say anytime she needs it. Today, the trust issue was brought up again. I just felt in that moment, am I willing to say sorry again because this may be what she needs for healing? Am I willing to say it again if it happens tomorrow or 6 months from now or 10 years from now? Then I think it's at that juncture, her healing is more important than my ego. So just save for life also okay. No?
Between hating and loving, or which is the harder? Loving is the harder one to do. Because hate is easy, what? You get the emotion, you just write on it and you can spiral with it. But in the end, it just burns everything.
So if loving is the harder thing and hating is the easier thing, why would you choose to love?
I love you, Koko.
Wrong. I think it's because loving is more joy than hating.
I just love him. I mean, when you hate someone, you just push them out of your life, right? Then it's I cannot have this connection with this wonderful person, right? So it's for the sake of having you in my life, I will work for that connection. And how you do that? You do that through love. You do that through forgiveness.
I think very early on in our adulthood, we both discovered that it's more important to be reconciled than to be right. Because being right is so useless at the end of the day. So what, you're going to get to the end of your life, I was right in 46 arguments. And then you only have one friend.
Yeah.
So I think generally in relationships, in families, right, do you let the other person know that you're trying? So for her, that word try, right, is her melt word. Once she knows that someone is trying, her heart instantly melts. And that was when I told her that actually, do you know that there was one day, I think my father wanted to really reconnect with his daughter, with her. But he couldn't because every topic he brings out over dinner, she gets angry and triggered. It can be, the only one thing they bond over is they don't like CPF. And that one I cannot help because I love CPF. But anyway, every other topic they disagree on. So one day after she rage quit and left from dinner in my dad's house, I stayed behind. And my dad was a bit down. Then it was the weirdest, most awkward conversation because my dad is a bit Asian parenting. So I just said hey pa, you want to connect with Kit, right? Let's practice. So we went through if Kit says this, what do you say? Or I just tell her these solutions, blah, blah, blah. I was no, okay. Women love it when you listen, not when you provide solutions. Then we had I think 30 minutes of that, to and fro. Then I think my dad was okay, we try the next dinner. Thanks, Cheng. I think after Kit found out that then she began growing more appreciative of my dad. Even bought USS, those Oscar awards, had the best dad ever. Then we presented it. It's a video on Instagram. We presented it to him. I think it was a defining moment for him as a father.
We finally actually had one dinner. I think it was our last dinner together. We had dinner together alone. Because last time I feel I always have to hide behind my brother to, because
we never had dinner alone.
Because he would say things out of tough love. yeah, one day we finally had dinner together alone, and then after that, like, it was just nice. Then he say like, oh, do you know he texted me like, oh, Cheng, I had dinner with Kit alone today, it was very nice. But you know, when I think about it, it just makes me sad. It makes me sad because I wish I had more of these like interactions with my dad. And it's just like, I feel just as we were able to connect, like he passed, like if I will say like he passed because of suicide, like he took his own life.
Probably best dad. No, it's best mom.
Oh, I thought broken. Merry Christmas, Pa.
Yeah, this is your future figure.
Six pack.
Make sure it's on display in your house.
Huh?
It will be. It'll be on display. Thanks.
Hanging right above the door. That's another reason why I feel like life is really too short to like keep thinking for yourself. Like, if I can give roses to people, I will give it to them, because like I also don't know what they're going through themselves. Even though he was always there for us, like as a father, like we see him on the weekends and all this, like I feel we never got to connect on that level before where we can talk. Because a lot of parents, like, they reach to this certain point where they know how to take care of kids until they're primary school, right? But then when they start having a mind of their own, they're like, oh, dumbfounded. I feel that's why like a lot of families have conflict, because the parents are stuck at, oh, how do you deal with a teenager, or how do you deal with an adult? Like, what other things do you talk to? Do you still say like, oh, respect, manners, all this, or are there more things you can talk about? I think one thing we struggle a lot lah, like us youngsters, is forgiving our parents for like, they don't have that kind of resources or upbringing like us. And the more you try to hold them to the expectations that they're older, they should know, and they got internet now,
Parents are doing it for the first time.
the harder it is to connect with them. You can keep thinking of all the things of what this person should have done, but you cannot do anything about it. I feel honestly I'm quite inspired by my brother's like I know there's a lot of things on his heart and like going on in his life also, but because he always, whenever he can, he always chooses to give in and to be the bigger person, to like, I'm triggered by you right now, but I'll still greet you with a metaphorical hug, you know. Oh my god, cut that out please. No, but he'll greet me with a metaphorical hug, and it really helps to put forth the first act of kindness. So because he's doing that, I also try to do that more.
She treats me to coffee sometimes. No, I'm kidding. I think I actually didn't really see it as a friendship until only last year, when she helped out a lot for the wedding. Before that, I think because she has a lot that she's going through, right? So we communicate very differently, and I won't say what it was, but last time she used to be a person that everything you talk about, she will relate it back to herself. So it's a bit tiring to be around her sometimes, because it's like, I can never talk about my day. She will never ask me, how's your day? And then like, oh, how do you feel when that happened? Wow, you're interested in this, how come? Like, she'll never ask follow-up questions. She'll just ask, how's your day? You know, for me, right? Blah, 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 blah. Then it'll just be like therapy law for her. But then I think only last year, and especially this year onwards, she went through a life-changing event that really changed the way she processes things with people. Like, now she wants to give people the space to process that. She wants to talk to them. It's a two-way conversation. So I would say, in terms of the friendship, right? Wow, I have never realized how much we have in common. The kind of jokes we share, the stupid movie impressions we do. We watch a lot of movies together. And so when we're playing like with our cousins, like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, we're not nerds, okay? I can come up with a lot of references that she can get, that even maybe my wife can't get, my best friends can't get, my cousins can't get. It's so funny that like so much was locked in this like sea of a person that I just couldn't see, because on top I just saw like, I don't really like the view or like the ocean.
Yeah, see, actually I'm very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hand hug. Okay, now? Hug me now, you understand?
Hug me, brother. Yeah.
Quick.
I still cringe.
See, this is how I am always so good at making the first move.
Okay.
No, prolong.
I feel uncomfortable.